Cube.
So Cube is the 1998 Canadian low-budget horror film, and it was inspired by a Twilight episode, and it's about a group of 6 people put into multiple cube rooms, and some rooms are trapped with wild, crazy-ass Saw-like traps that will chop you, slice you, and dice you, melt you, burn you alive, drown you, whatever. And then other rooms are completely safe. But they don't know why they're there, and they gotta try to figure that shit out or just try to escape. This is one of those movies where growing up, every once in a while on YouTube, I would just randomly see a clip of a guy being sliced into multiple cubes. And that's the open to this film. And it's still gnarly and very awesome. This is like before Resident Evil, I think. I'm not a fan of that franchise. I've only seen the first one. I'm not very up to date on that franchise, what the hell's going on, so I could be wrong. Maybe Resident Evil came out first, but this is like 1998. This is way better than that laser shit in Resident Evil. This is just fucking brutal. So let's start off with the things that I like about Cube. First up, I love just the premise of this movie. It's just very different, unique, and it's a very low budget film, you can tell, and they utilize it very well. And they just, how smart was it to be like, all right, well, how can we make it look like they're going from one room to the next, even though we only have like 2 rooms on set and they have to go to like 40 different rooms? Well, let's just change the light in each room. You got a blue room, you got an orange room, you got a green room, you got a red room. That's it. They just changed the bulbs and it's like there's another room they're in. I like that this movie really is just about paranoia. You don't know if they're really who they say they are. There's good tension. There's one moment of tension that had me like on the edge of my seat with this guy with Down syndrome. They're in the room where you have to be very quiet, and the guy with Down syndrome, he's been making a lot of noise. He's very unpredictable, and you don't know if he's gonna open his mouth, if he's gonna make some weird noise, if he's gonna start screaming, start banging. Who the fuck knows? They're unpredictable. You can't control them really. So that scene just had me going. I was just like, holy fuck, are they gonna make it? Is he gonna fuck it up for them? I enjoy the mystery behind this movie. I enjoy the questions it raises, and you're trying to wonder who's responsible, why. You got all these questions. There's a decent mystery to it, but unfortunately it doesn't really get solved, and I'll get into that later. It's just kind of like it's happening. But it's an intriguing premise. It's got some very good tension, and the acting overall, I was surprised by how decent it was. I didn't see any characters that stood out as bad. I also like that the characters' names are all named after popular prisons, and they're all wearing prison suits, but it's not that their characters' names were changed, like they didn't wake up with amnesia, like, who am I? It says Quentin. No, like their characters just so happen to be named after popular prisons. You got Quentin, you got Leaven, you got Rennes, named after a popular French prison, and you got another one like Holloway after a UK prison. So I just found that interesting, and I like that this movie makes you feel what the characters are feeling. Like you see them getting hungry, and you like feel the dehydration that they're feeling. Their lips start cracking. You know it's been like a day and a half or 2 days. They're just getting very thirsty. Their lips are like all dry and gray, and you can just see the performances on them, on their faces, and the way they're walking. You can tell how tired they're getting. Like I said, the acting was pretty good. Not Oscar worthy, but it was just like, damn, this is good for a low budget, like $360,000 budget, like no one's ever heard of type movie. Time for the cons. First up, nitpick. I think there's some character decisions that are dumb. There's moments where I'm like screaming at the screen like, why are you doing this? Why are you walking to the center of the room? Why would you be walking around the sides? It seems like the middle is where the traps are triggered. And then there's just moments where like they're all going into the next room, but one's just like sticking back behind. Like, are you waiting for a trap to go off or something? You're a moron. Get with the other group before the door shuts and the cubes start moving. Are you trying to get lost or left behind? Fucking move! And I'll say for the most part that the dialogue really does nothing. Like, it's just a lot of just like nothing really. There's no character building. It's just like a character, one of them just completely changes at the drop of a hat to the point where it made me think that there was something else going on, like there was a chemical in the air or like some chip in his brain, something got switched, and then he just completely did a 180 and became a bigger asshole than he ever was before. Like, I thought they were gonna slowly make him dive into insanity It's only been like a day, buddy. Like, this is his sanity. Let's do like a little analogy. Like, let's pretend like we have a fishing pole and his sanity is right here, alright? Or like, this is him and sanity is the pole. At first, he's really close. He's still got it. And then all of a sudden, they kind of reel him out and he's starting to become very insane. And he's like accusing everyone of being spies. But then he becomes normal again, alright? They reel him back in. And then all of a sudden, he goes to help a woman, save her life, and like he risks his life in the process. He could have fallen with her. He didn't know that they were going to be able to grab his legs and hold on to him, but they did. So they're holding on to him, he's holding on to her, he's almost got her, and all of a sudden, like, his face just completely changes, and you see it in his eyes and his face, and he's like, boom, just drops her. Just completely flips, and that's when his sanity just fucking did just fly his sanity all the way out to sea. Like, he's gone. He's a lost cause. He's insane. He's a murderer now. And that, to me, just came out of fucking nowhere. And it's like, what, he's just insane? It's like, they could have slowly did that, but instead it's just like, they just slam on the gas, and he's like, alright, he's insane now. So the characters could have been written better, the dialogue could have been written better, the dialogue is just like, why are we here? I don't know. And then like, they go to the next cube, why are we here? I don't know. I have an idea. Shut up, your idea is stupid. And they spend the whole movie talking about those things, so you're like, alright, we're gonna get an answer, right? No, this movie goes nowhere fast. Like, by the time it's over, you're like, wait, it's over? There's no resolution to the film. It's just like, alright, shit happened. No reason. We don't know who the fuck did it. We know this guy kind of helped engineer it. The guy says, like, I don't know who did it, but whoever did hired like 1,000 people to work on tiny individual projects. And he took all those, finished things from each person together to make this big old bat cave of cubes. Somebody has to know about this place. It is so fucking huge. It's worth multiple billions of dollars. It has to be. So that's just asinine alone. Like, there's no way no one knows about this. The government, somebody has to know about it. It has to be the government behind it. But they don't say that in this movie, unless they do in the sequels. There's a Cube 2 and a Cube 0. I don't know what that means. Prequel? But yeah, the ending is really what holds this movie back. If there was a resolution, if there was a rhyme or reason to what the hell was going on, then I would have been more on board, but instead it's just like, let's just have an interesting premise with cubes that are evil, and we're only killing 2 people with those cubes. The other 2 people, they die by the hands of evil Quentin, who, like I said, just mentally flipped out of nowhere and was like, stab, stab, the end. I do find it funny that the one person who lives in this movie is mentally handicapped. Like, who the fuck saw that coming? And coincidentally, his one gift is just knowing, like, fractions and factors, like, it's like, how many factors go into like 696? Like, 2, I know it. It's like bullshit. Now, before I go, I just want to tell a little interesting story since we're talking about mentally handicapped people. I've never told this story to anybody, but just to make this review more unique, tell my own personal stories. Because I'm not sure how many people have reviewed this movie, but I'm going to make my review stand out by telling this story. Alright, so I was in junior high, was I? No, I was a sophomore. And I went to this special school because I was special. I always got in trouble, suspended. But I went to this school where everybody was just dumb, not mentally retarded. Like, there was one guy who had Down syndrome, and then there was all these other people who were just weirdos. One guy who took his scrotum out through his pants zipper, saw testicles that year for the first time from another man besides myself. That was disturbing. All kinds of fucking freaks there. I was the smartest human being in that building. Like, when I was there, I was king. I was crowned as the smartest person alive when I went there. So, it was fucking easy. But anyways, I'm doing this project, and I got a mentally handicapped person with me. Cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, I don't know, something. But he was like the character in this movie. Except he didn't know math like this character. Anyways, we're looking at, like, a book, and I'm trying to, like, find answers, and these fucking whatever, I don't know. Who gives a shit? But anyways, there's like a picture of a cheetah or something, and I'm like, it's a cheetah. I don't know what the hell started this conversation, but then the mentally handicapped guy goes, that's a tiger. And then me, being immature, argued with them, trying to prove myself right, even though I knew 140,000 million % I was fucking right. Still tried to prove it to him, like, no, it's a fucking cheetah. I would know, buddy. And he was like, no, it's a tiger, retard. Fuck you. I could not, like, it still baffles me to this day. Like, you have not lived life until someone who's retarded, sorry, I'm saying, who calls you retarded. Like, every now and then, like, I'll be at work and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh yeah, I had a guy who was mentally handicapped called me retard. Can't believe it. I'll be driving down the road like, oh yeah, I can't believe that happened. Poof! Mind blown. I got called a retard by that person. But anyways, yeah, pointless story. Didn't need to tell it, but I've never told anybody that story before. But it's still something that enters my mind every now and then, so I just want to say it here. I've never reviewed a movie that had a mentally handicapped person before, so now's my only opportunity to tell it. But yes, now let's just get my final thoughts out of the way. This movie is okay. It has an interesting premise. It's got some mystery to it, but once you're done watching it the first time, you're like, oh, well, that mystery goes nowhere. The characters are okay. The acting's okay, but the characters, the building of them, you don't really know anything about them. It's just no rhyme or reason to why they're fucking there. One's a fucking math whiz, one's mentally handicapped, one's a cop, one's a doctor, and one's an engineer, and there's no reason why they're connected to each other at all. It's just, there could have been more there. There could have been a lot more there. It's what's it called? Potential. It's got potential, but it's not that great of a movie. Although I did have a pretty decent time. There's some good tension. There's a couple of good gnarly kills. If you're looking for that, maybe just look up a Cube death montage and you'll get satisfied enough just by watching that. But at the end of the day, I'll say when it comes to Cube 1998, maybe if you're interested by what I've said so far, check it out at Redbox. And those are my thoughts on Cube. Have you seen this movie? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. I might be reviewing Cube 2, Hypercube, and Cube 0 in the next coming weeks, so look for those. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button to show your support, and you can become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.